Hey everybody, welcome. It's so great to see some faces that I know, some that are new to me. So great to see you. Hey Joni, great to see everybody. I'm excited you guys are here. So today we're doing part 3 of the Return to Self-Intuitive Coaching Program podcast series, or not podcast, whatever, webinar series. And just if you haven't been to my webinars before, this one I'll hopefully be an hour. The last time went for 2, which is fine. If I go over, it's no big deal. I'll be teaching a process for part of it, telling you about the program for part of it, and then doing intuitive reads at the end. If you have questions as I go, feel free to type them in. If you rewatch the first one, I did Mind versus Spirit. Yesterday, I did more about, or last week, I did more about the actual program. Today, I'm doing kind of a combo. It's about the program, but also a lot about the mind. That's what my intuitive nudge was to teach not all about the mind, but a lot about the mind. But this process could be interactive, so you can actually get something emotional out of it. So if you are game for that, if you're not like driving in a car or out busy doing something, that would be really helpful for you. So, all right, let's get started. So let's go and close our eyes to begin. Once the windows of the eyes closed, just take a few breaths. Let's exhale together. And inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4. Pause. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Pause. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Pause. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Keep that rhythm of breath going. Make it slower. Allow it to be calmer. And allow it to flow. Feel every inhale move into the exhale. Feel every exhale transition to the inhale. And maybe just notice what's happening. Where is the focus of your thought? Is it in the body and in your breath? Or is your mind tugging you into dinner or your day? Where's your mind going? Just observe. This last part of the meditation, see if you can gently pull your mind more back into the breathing. So let's become aware of how our breathing sounds. How it feels. What it looks like with the belly rising and falling. As you just immerse your mind into the breath. Noticing the ease and the flow as you do that. I invite you to stay here for about 5 or 6 more slow, long, deep breaths. Conscious, slow, and connected. After those next 5 or 6 slow, deep breaths, when you're ready, bring awareness back into your body, your eyelids, stretch your arms if you want, and gently open your eyes. How about you? But rolling my shoulders feels good right now. Welcome, guys. So excited you're here. So excited about this program. So like last week, I'm going to do a PowerPoint, but it's going to be really interactive with Q&A coaching and working on our minds a lot more today. I took from last week's PowerPoint and kind of typed on it. So some of it will be a repeat if you saw last week, and some of it won't. But I also know some people are just coming to this one. Some people didn't see yesterday's last week's. So I'm going to pull it up and let us get going and see what happens here. Oh no, wait, one sec. Just one sec. This going here. Okay, cool. Awesome. So this is about the Return to Self-Intuitive Coaching Program. We start September 10th, which I'm so excited about. That's the second Tuesday in September. So let's get going and have some fun. All right, some of these earlier slides might sound the same, so just bear with me. I can move through them a bit quicker. You know what we're going to do. We're going to hang out, stand up for an hour, and we'll see what happens. I'll do some coaching at the end or during it as we go. My mission statement. So I taught a workshop this weekend on Saturday on everything I wrote. I do. My mission is to empower people with intuitive and spiritual techniques to help them gain clarity, heal, and step into their life mission. Got a bunch of emails after Saturday's workshop, and people were saying, I've never felt that much peace. And all I did was change the way they thought using intuition and spiritual techniques. That's all I did. I say all. It's a lot of work. That's all I did. And a vision statement is if everyone on the planet did it, what would happen? Right now, the dominant vibration of the planet is anxiety and depression. And if everyone does this, the dominant vibration becomes peace and joy and abundance. And I believe that to every core of my being. Every core of my being. All right, now let's have some fun. Okay, we did the slide last time. Make this really short. I'm a family doctor from class of 93. Became a yoga teacher because I got quite sick. A TEDx talk out there on that. I don't have to go through that. Yoga helped, but then I ended up needing to do tons of yoga, which is great. And then I moved into the work I do now. About 20 years ago, my intuition went right up when I was pregnant. So I'm making this short, longer version last time. And started my intuitive business about 15 years ago. Built a very busy and successful business, which was awesome. Stopped about a year ago. I still do intros and very occasional sessions, and teach a lot now. So I taught intuitive coach training program for 7 years with my old mentor, Lynette Brown. And then I've revolutionized it and turned it into Return to Self. It's the same bones of ICT, but with extra components. So that's that. I'm happy to answer questions if anyone has anything, but that's pretty much boring. Okay, now we're gonna have some fun. All right, so the power of intuitive coaching is this. I sat and meditated and I asked my guides what to teach, and we're gonna meet our guides in a little bit here. Not right now, but we will. The power of intuitive coaching is it can take anywhere from confusion into clarity. That's the power of it. And yes, I believe 100%. 100%. Everyone can do it. I'm not a rocket scientist. I'm not special. I'll give you a small example. So I did 1 or 2 intros today. Like intros are half an hour free things I do for clients. I still do them. I shouldn't say still. I do them because my guides have not told me not to. So I do them right now. And I had a client referred to me this morning who was a lawyer or is a lawyer. And, everything's falling apart. His $6 million empire that he was going to retire on in a few years is all falling apart. So he's about to go bankrupt. Had about half an hour to 35 minutes with him. He came in. I don't typically do in-person ones, but he came in. And he left and he was like, and I mean, I'm not going to say it was easy or hard, but I did what I do. And he left going, wow, there's hope. Versus when he walked in, he wasn't suicidal, but he had the ideation. He's not technically, but he was like, oh shit, there's hope. And that was just after half an hour. That's not me. That's my connection to my guides. That's them. It's all that. But everybody has that gift. It's, are you willing to open up or not? And that's really, we all can move from confusion to clarity. And if that gentleman continues the work, whether it be me or with another intuitive coach, he can rewire his mind and create the life he wants, even if he loses $6 million this month. Okay. Because spirit can create anything like that. And it's just about us believing it. Wayne Dyer always said there's 7 spiritual solutions to every problem. We have to believe it. And that's what we're going to be talking about today, the crazy mind. Okay. I believe that everybody is capable of the work, but I also believe that everybody who's ready to do the work, who wants clarity, can have better relationships, better health, more time, more flow, and easier life because spirit's always there. What we do as intuitive coaches is we give permission for people to wake it up. And I'll get into that in a minute here. Okay, this is the fun topic. We're going to talk about the mind. So the mind is crazy and also amazing. We often think of the mind as just being up here in our brain, and it's not. The mind is located outside of us, and we grab those thoughts. We think the mind is us, but we're not the mind. I am not my thoughts. The fact that I can see myself sitting here and looking out the window. So I right now, and we can all practice doing this. I want you all to do this. Just close your eyes for a sec. And I want you to practice imagining that you're sitting outside yourself. Just check in. Can you see yourself right now? So imagine you're on the ceiling looking down at yourself on a computer. Can you do that? And gently open your eyes. Can you guys do that? Yes or no? Just nod your head, yes. Cool. So y'all can do it. That tells you right there that you're not your mind and consciousness exists outside. The thing is, the mind gives you 40 to 60,000 thoughts a day, which are a lot, and they're really, 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 really fast. And a lot of times we don't realize that we're actually choosing our thoughts. But perception rests in choosing. How I perceive this water glass as 3/4 full or 1/4 empty is my perception. Everything rests in perception. And what we don't realize, because the mind is giving us thought after thought after thought after thought, and I always do it this way, the mind is here, the ego's thinking is here, and spirit's here. Now the mind can go into either, but I have to choose. So I'm in the middle and I get to choose. But because I have 40 to 60,000 a day, the mind is like a tape recorder of every thought you've had, every memory you've had, every time when you were 16 and your heart got broken and the guy didn't show up for the date on time, or every scenario where you were really anxious about something. The mind is also a perceptual thought of your parents' dominant unhealed thoughts. I remember when I really started to dive into my personal work, I started to really, I call it pull the thread, like really start to explore what my greatest fear around money was. And I discovered that I had this fear of being homeless. And I was like, what the hell is that fear all about? Like, I really have to pull that and pull that and pull that. Finally realized it was because when my father was an immigrant from Pakistan to India, and he was essentially homeless for a while. And so it's like, oh my God. And he raised us with that dominant thinking of fear. But I didn't put two and two together until I pulled it when I was a lot older. I was like, oh, wow. So our parents' dominant unhealed thoughts can become ours. A friend of mine was in the other day, and I've worked with her for a gazillion years in the past. And we were talking about, she's now married and has a kid. And she's finding that, and prior to being married and having this kid's a year old, and she was a very successful artist. Her husband moved around a little bit. There was COVID, all of that stuff. So she lost her art career, like a very successful artist. And then now she just had this kid, and it's been about a year. Her son's a year. And she finds herself going, maybe I'll just stay home. But I've known her since before she met the boy. I've known her for a long time. And I looked at her, I was like, huh? And not that that's a bad thing. It's perfect. And she was like, and then I kept pulling the thread on where that thought originated, and originated from her grandmother who stayed home with her kids and thought that's all she was worth. So when you pull the threads enough, you can identify the origin of the thoughts. And if her and I hadn't talked, she actually says she might have ended up just staying home with kids, which would have been fine too. But she also would have been very miserable, she says. So what I want you to understand is the mind is a really funny thing. And most humans, in fact, probably almost everybody on the call right now, don't realize is they're choosing their thoughts. But how we perceive life rests on our choosing. And we actually don't realize that we choose. Well-trained intuitive coaches are so busy because most humans have no idea that they have choice. Because most humans have a very untrained mind that goes da, 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 da. And because of our physical body that's constantly giving us hormonal responses and the nervous system, we keep going mind, body, but the body can go to the mind. So mind, body, body, mind. So we're perceiving thoughts over here from a tape recorder over and over and over again, from when we're 16, when we're 5, when we're 20, all those stories just keep recurring. And because we keep perceiving and perseverating on those thoughts, we keep thinking those thoughts. And because we kept thinking those thoughts, we're always reliving the past. So we keep creating the same pain. I'll go into separation in a minute here, not quite yet. What most of us know but don't actually pay attention to is our thoughts become our emotion becomes our vibration, and our vibration becomes a reality. Most of us have heard of that, but most of us are stuck at the reality, kind of working our way backwards. And out of habit, we keep pulling thoughts from our storehouse of memories. And as a result, we keep creating our life over and over exactly the same. But what we don't understand is that spirit is over here sending a thought. But because of choice and because of universal law, we could have put up a picture on the fridge in January 1st saying, I'm going to move to Portugal today. I'm going to move to Portugal this year. That's my intention this year. But if we're only listening to the mind, spirit doesn't push their way in. If the mind is like, how am I coming up with the money? How am I going to come up with the money? And mind's asking that over and over again. How? Spirit, because of choice, spirit never pushes its way in. We have choice. We have to, I call it touching the hot stove. We have to stop touching the hot stove if the emotion doesn't feel good. But because of habit, we do it over and over and over again. But spirit is sending you a thought right now going, you're fine. And they're trying to send you a thought saying, it's safe. They're trying to tell you a thought of, hey, just do this. You can have the money to go to Portugal. And spirit has like 7 solutions to what this is doing. But we're over here. And a lot of the work we do as intuitives is to shift from here to here. And our mind cycles all the time into thought systems, past, future, scarcity, judgment, so on and so on and so on and so forth. So the impact we have in our lives is really simple. We get addictions. We fight with our partners. Money runs out. We get health issues. I mean, all the time. Just going to see what the next slide is before I might go into process. And it all originates from thoughts because we choose. I'm going to actually go into process. Yeah, let's go into the process now. So I'm going to stop sharing for a sec. Let's do the process work now. So I want you to grab a pen and paper and write down the thoughts that keep cycling that don't feel good right now. Just write down 4 or 5 of them and maybe share them into the chat box. What are 4 or 5 thoughts that you keep cycling on over and over and over again? And again, in my work, the more vulnerable you can be, the more you're going to get out of it. So if you're vulnerable enough, maybe to share them into the chat box. You don't have to, but if you're open to it, what do you got? What are your thoughts that you keep cycling on over and over and over again? And I'll get the brave of you who are ready to type into the chat box. What are your thoughts that you cycle over and over and over again? See what you guys come up with. I'm not good enough. Beautiful. What else you guys got? Am I doing this right? Love that, Haley. Awesome. Anyone else? I wish I didn't have debt or that I made more money to pay it off. Beautiful. Amazing. I worry about my health. Amazing. These are awesome. These are so awesome. Okay, so let's work with some of these. Now I want you to start to label. You've got your pen and paper. I want you to start to label, is this past or future? Am I doing this right? It's both future and past because it's like, oh, did I do this wrong in the past? In the future, is it okay? Decisions of staying or going. Yeah, past and future again, right? Worry about my health. More future typically, but it can also be past. If I do this, I'll have that. Very future. What's the right choice? Amazing. Okay, so again, future. Do you guys see how we're doing past, future, right? Problem is, spirit is right now. Makes sense to your brain? And if I never, ever meet you again in my life, there's no answers in these 40 to 60,000 thoughts, but perseverate over and over and over again. Talks about, of course, miracles. And if you actually read the comments you guys wrote in, there's a lot of powerlessness there, which is fine. Please, this is what I do for work. A lot of powerlessness. Am I doing this right? Am I doing this right? Who hasn't had that thought, right? If I have to do that, I'll do that. What's going on with my health? Do you hear the powerlessness in that? I'm going to push you guys. I want some honesty. I love you, but I'm going to push you. Scale of 1 to 100. how much do you feel? How, oh no, they should say that differently. Scale of 1 to 100. How much do you believe in the concept of sin or that you've done something terribly wrong? Scale of 1 to 100. Put it in the chat box. They're terribly wrong. They're sinful. They're bad. Like, oh, that's horrible. What do you guys got? I'm just about people in the world or the world as a whole. How much do you believe in the word sin? We'll see what comes up. Scale of 1 to 100. 90. Give you guys a minute in case there's more answers. 5. 10 to 15. So you got mix of numbers. It's awesome. 11. So you got a mix of numbers. 20. So real mix of numbers. How much do you believe now? That's so now out of 1 to 100, 1 to 100. How much do you believe that you can do something wrong? Forget that last question I just asked you. Leave that over there. Go to yourself. How much do you believe? Oh, I'm assuming that was for this question, Haley. I think it was. How much do I believe to do something wrong? 1,000 or 10,000, whatever that number is. 100,000, 100. Okay, 80. 80, 90, 50. 90. Yeah. Believe it or not, this might sound funny. Those two were exactly the same question. And some of you are like, I put 10 on the last one, I put 90 on this one. I might swear right now. If you've ever seen me teach in person, I swear a lot when I teach in person. You can never fucking get it wrong. Ever. And I can feel some of your solar plexus and hearts clench right now, and I love you. But you can never, ever get it wrong. And so for those of you who wrote in, I wish I had more money because I had debt in the past. Even that thought that you have debt in the past is the judgment on yourself. Even the thought that you could do something wrong, spirit never sees you that way. Are our choices not wrong at times, Terrell? Not according to spirit. Spirit knows you when you die and get washed of all your thoughts. Do you think spirit's standing there going, Karen, I don't know about that first husband. Raya, you really screwed that one up. The weekend I was teaching a workshop that Terrell was at. And when you guys take Return to Self-Coaching program, and what this really amazing question that came at the end of the workshop, which I want to share with you. I talk a lot about the Divine Mother and the feminine energy. And a woman at the end of the workshop said, and I always use this hand to talk about our connection to our intuition and the divine. And we were working a lot with this goddess named Isis. Kuan Yin came in, different Kali came in, different goddesses came into that workshop. And by the end of Saturday, I kept saying, she wants you to know how much you're loved. I had my hand up here. And by the end of the workshop, everybody could feel her, whatever goddess, the divine. And whenever we would talk even about God, I would say, let's start to trust her. By the end of it, people started to go, why do you call her her? It's like one of the best questions I've ever been asked. And I said, because if I asked you, how does God feel about you? Do you know how you'd interpret it? They're like, oh God, yeah. I had a woman and man at this workshop. And everybody there admitted that they have like this like patriarchal, God punishes me interpretation. When they think of her as her, their whole body relaxes. Course in Miracles teaches us that it goes God, Holy Spirit, and then human. God is masculine, Holy Spirit is feminine. And when we understand that, we understand that there's a female energy that we can connect with that loves us unconditionally. What if she never judged you? What if she isn't sitting here going, bank account? I don't know about that. What if she knows that you could never get the decision wrong? What if she has always loved you to the moon and back? Take a breath with those thoughts. Take them into your body. And let me know, how does that feel? Type into the chat box. How does that feel to imagine that she can cure anything in your health issues? She's not worried about it. Tell me what comes up. I got answers like beautiful and soothing. And the reason it's so soothing and peaceful, and the reason I've been guided, and Krista wrote comforting, a lot of the work I do is with the mother energy. You'll get sicker by the end of Return to Self, trust me. We all, no matter where you grew up, have this very patriarchal definition of God. And we're actually afraid of it. We know the feminine mother energy has her arms around you and looks at you in your eyes with connection. We're actually going to do that right now. Go ahead and close your eyes. With your eyes, I'm laughing at them because they said, just take them there. I'm like, okay, go ahead and close your eyes. And once your eyes close, just breathe again. Find that slow breath in and take that long breath out. Take a deep breath in and take a fluid breath out. Just breathe. As your breath gets slower and deeper, calmer and easier, take yourself into a beautiful place in nature. A place maybe that you visit often, maybe a place in your own home, or maybe even from fairy tales. The most important thing about it is that it is safe and comfortable. Comfortable and safe. And just breathe there. Look at this space. What do you see? Are there trees? Is there a waterfall? Maybe there's some animals. What do you see? What do you hear? What are the sounds around you? Sound of the wind? Sound of the river or the waterfall? What do you hear? Maybe there's some music. What do you feel? How's the temperature against your skin? And just breathe in your safe and comfortable place. Out of the corner of your eye, you see your guides, your divine support team as they approach you. There's nothing scary about this experience. We all have one or two or three guides that have been with us lifetime after lifetime. Allow them to come in. In addition to them, you have your ancestors. Let them enter. You have ascended masters. Any energies you believe in. Muhammad, Buddha, Christ consciousness. Bring all the energies in as you breathe. Imagine, if you will, that they're forming a circle around you and that you can connect with them as you breathe. Some of them will hear, some of you will hear them. Others of you will know of their presence. Some of you will feel that they're there. Some of you will see them. The biggest thing you will perceive is a sense of love and comfort and support. Just breathe. Now, one of them from the Divine Mother team specifically steps forward And you can choose the one to step forward. Maybe it's Mother Mary or Kuan Yin. If you don't have one to choose, I invite you to choose the energy of Isis. She is one of the Egyptian divine mother energies, goddesses. Holds the energy of magic, even if you do not know what she looks like, does not matter. Just imagine the name Isis steps forward. As my voice gets quiet, she is now connecting eye to eye with you. So, keeping your eyes closed, imagine that she's looking at you in this beautiful place in nature, eye to eye. As you breathe, allow her eyes to penetrate you. Just breathe. She knows who you are. She knows your wisdom. She knows your worth. This is the goddess of magic. Keep breathing. As her eyes penetrate your eyes, keep breathing and stay centered. Now, she has a message for you, or whichever divine mother you chose has a message for you. Sit back and receive the message. Maybe you have a question or two for them. Go ahead and ask. Stay here with that slow, deep breath. Once you feel like you've received the message, take a moment to thank her. Thank your divine support team and your guides. Start to bring awareness back to your body, your eyelids, your fingers. Now, when you're ready, gently open your eyes. Everyone's going to come back at different paces. Once you're back, maybe type it to the chat box. How do you feel? What happened? Anyone want to share? Or just unmute yourself if that's easier than typing it in. Who wants to start us off? I want to share what came up for them as we did that.
I can share if no
Go
one.
for it, Joey. Sure for it.
It was super fun. I don't know why fun is the adjective I chose there, but because I was like in this usual spot that I go to, but then I was like sucked down into like it was calling it a cenote or something like that, where it was like in a cave puddle underground, and it was like me in like my wiseness, but then my little kid, like my teenager, and like baby all in this pool. And then like when you said to bring Isis in, it was like the magic, like she was just like touch the water, like remember the magic, remember the magic. So that was fun. Yeah, thank you.
Love that. I love that. Anyone else want to share? You know, say it out loud or type it in. Did most of you connect with her? Did most of you feel her energy? It's okay if you didn't. That's why I'm here. Krista wrote, I was surprised that I felt them touching me. It's the closest I felt to them. That was also the first time I felt completely comfortable by them. Yeah, I mean, Krista, what I do, whether it be online or in person, though I find in person a bit more powerful. Divi does, though I can do this online too. But Divi finds it more powerful in person. The work I do is transmission. So I don't, she tells me what she's gonna do. So she's like, I'm gonna go in front of everybody. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna look at them in their eyes. Okay. And then she's transmitting energy to you, and so that's called transmission. So it doesn't surprise me. So that's awesome. I love that. Anyone else want to share? And even if you didn't feel anything, I totally am cool with that. I also want to share anything. Karen, go for it.
I'm not sure, like I saw eyes, but I didn't know if it was like me like making it up or like thinking too deeply. But it was the message that I got was to trust and really have like faith in myself and like almost like mother myself too. I saw like this little kid running around and just like it made me so happy just to like yeah.
And it when especially the first number of times we do this, and no matter how long you've been doing this, I think our mind still thinks we're making it up. It's really normal. So it's very that part is normal. That's just part of the ego going, nope, that's not. But you can't make it. I always joke you can't make this up, right? Can't make this shit up. And but that was real, right? And the only thing that stops, so here's the mind, here's spirit. The only thing that stops intuition is us doubting it, our fears are questioning. But that's phenomenal, Karen. So thank you for sharing that with me. Thank you. So beautiful. I love that. And then Haley wrote, Obey wrote, okay, back up. He wrote, I didn't see a mother, but I saw a magical child, almost like an avatarish looking child, one that felt very wise. It said, you're meant to deeply love all. I'm not sure I did that right. Hun, I love that. I'm not sure I did it right. Can't get this wrong, stuff. I love you guys. I love you. Can't get it wrong. They wrote intense love and wisdom felt like ancient galactic. Amazing. So, guys, the reason I took you into that exercise and kind of today's PowerPoint, and I'll go back to PowerPoint in a minute, is I kind of want to lean through my computer and grab each of your beautiful faces and scream this, but I won't do it. That's available all the time. All the fucking dot, sorry, all the time. 24/7. That voice is there. Okay? All the time. She's there. All the time. Her comfort is there. Her love is there. Her grace is there. And we're here. Okay? And guys, I'm going to sit here as a person to a person. I'm just going to read I'll read yours in a second, Raya. As a person to person, guys, as much as I do this for work and I teach this for work, I can go here. And guys, I've really been here in the past, like really been here. I've healed money issues, my relationship with my marriage. I mean, God, I've wanted to leave in the past so many times. Like Jesus Christ, I can't even tell you. Not that it's a good thing that I stayed. It was just what I needed to do for me. Okay, health. Oh my God, I've had so many health issues. All of it's from this work. All of it through me trusting her. And I've had to work with my crazy mind. Okay. So all of what you guys wrote down about, like, did I make the wrong decision? Should I stay? Should I go? Money issues, health issues. I can relate to all of that contrast. And because I do this for a living, but I also have work with intuitive coaches regularly, I'm like, oh, and the more I listen, and I always say her, though there's obviously male guides, but because I was working with Isis, the more I listen to her, and that becomes my vibration, then this gets quieter. And then I have now when we say we have choice, now I have choice. Most humans only have this. No wonder we're so freaking busy as intuitive coaches, because this is running it. Got it? This is running it. And so that lawyer I shared with you guys at the beginning, like he was in it, 61-year-old guy in it. He said to me 6 months ago, he thought he was going to retire in a year and have $6 million to live off of, which to me is a pretty good chunk of change. I'm like, not bad. And then he woke up today and realized woke up July 2nd, he said, and he realized he was 3 million in the hole. I was just like, and so his only choice is bankruptcy. Anyway, whatever, it doesn't matter the story. He was in it. If you can imagine how in it was, he was in it. And when he left, after 35 minutes or so, he was more over. He's like, he, even though he knows he's not his thoughts, he didn't know his thoughts. He didn't know that there was a choice. And just giving him that choice was like, it felt like I gave him gold. Got it? And what you want to understand is this, like I talk with my hands, is what we do as intuitive coaches all the time. And the more often we can get them out of here into here, the more spirit can work, whether that be for you as a person or for you with your clients. The best part of doing this as work, and I think I said this last time, is everything I say to my clients, I'm saying to myself. It's the most selfish job in the world. Okay. I'm going to go back to the PowerPoint. So, before I go back to the PowerPoint, let me read Raya's, then I've got one more question before I go to the PowerPoint. Briar wrote, she felt a wise elder in the mountains by a waterfall. Heart was really beating. And I got brought out by my dogs barking. I love that. And the dogs barking, as you know, Raya, just represents your mind, right? Everything represents something. I love that. So guys, can you see after just doing that 5-minute meditation with her, if you scroll up, not that you have to, and you look back at what you wrote about your general thoughts, do you see a difference there? See the difference in frequency? It's just a radio station dial. You were just plugged into 98. And we plugged you into 101, even just for a few seconds or a few minutes. And the more you plug in here, the more you heal. And that's what will happen in the 6 months. You just start to wake this up. All those things you thought were an issue, like, I should make more money. I got to worry about this. All in your health, you start to just know what's going on. Or you ask me and I'll tell you. All right, let me go back to that PowerPoint because they're telling me to go. They're like, go back. And I'm like, okay, fine, I'll go back. Let me just see what I have written down here because I don't remember. Let's just see. Okay, we choose, right? That's what we just did. We choose, right? Because it all originates in thoughts. And what if you could choose more often how spirit thought? How spirit felt? It's life-changing. It's totally life-changing. Everything is choice. All right, let's see what else I got on my slides here. Spirit lives in now. It's really important for you to know. Spirit lives in your potential and your worth because key is you are a child of God. You are the center of the universe. I'll make this quickly. So the reason the ego lives so much, and we didn't talk about this, I don't think, in these 3 webinars, is because the ego's biggest thing is that you're separated from the divine. You're separated from God. So separated thought system, this one over here says, I'm alone. I got to prove myself. It's scary out there. Out there in here, I'm nothing. And somebody wrote that. Divine thoughts are, you are connected to something much bigger. You are infinitely worthy. You are the world. You are connected to all. You are the I am. And the bottom line that I wrote is it's hard to us believe. That's the hardest part, is that it's hard for us to believe that the speck in it is us is the same speck that's in the entire universe. It's just hard for us to believe that, but it's true. That's that Marianne Williamson quote that most of us have heard. Okay, we met our guides. We didn't go into the 4 clairs, but I might go there really, really quickly before I open to Q&A. And then, then I'm almost done. 4 clairs. I'll talk about that really quickly. This is intuition. There's 4 primary ways our guides speak to us. Most of us know this. Claircognizance, which is thought insertions. Clairvoyance, which is seeing. Clairaudience, which is to hear. And clairsentience, which is to feel. In the 6-month course, I will teach you what your main clair is. We all have one main dominant one, but then I'll teach you to open the other 3. So when I first started, open up all 4, I should say. When I first started, clairsentience is my main, which is to feel. I'm a feeler. I can feel everything. But then that's actually why I got really sick physically, because I would pick up everything my patient was going through in my hands. But when we wake up the other ones, it gets a lot easier. When I first started my business, the only clair I used was clairsentience, or to feel. But then as I open the other ones, now it gets a lot easier. When I work, they've got volume switches, like volume dials. I turn down clairsentience, which is to feel, because I don't want to feel all your guys' crap. I love you, but I don't want to feel it all. And I turn up the other clairs. I turn up the knowing, I turn up the seeing, and I turn up the hearing. So life gets a lot easier. So most people when they go to the grocery stores or the malls, they're like, boo. The reason you're like, boo, is because you're clairsentience. You're feeling everybody's crap. But there's ways to turn that down and turn up the other ones. And that's what I'll teach you how to do that. Okay, it's not hard, but if your other ones aren't activated, it's impossible to turn clairsentience down, because you can't just turn clairsentience down without getting sick. Because if you turn it down, it just goes inwards, okay? If you're going to turn one down, you have to turn up the others. It's just how it works. What else? Okay, how's this landing? I'll come back to Q&A because I'm almost done, and then I'll open to Q&A and questions. Okay, what do we all want? Peace and joy and fulfillment and aliveness. I think that's what we all want. I think most people just want peace. I will say that. Most of us just want peace. Okay, this is a quote from Eckhart Tolle. What is the relationship between something you do and that state of joy? He writes, you will enjoy any activity in which you are fully present. Any activity that is not just a means to an end. So I want to you to think about what you do for your work or life. Is it a means to an end, a means to a paycheck, a means to keeping a relationship together? It isn't the action you perform that you really enjoy, but the deep sense of aliveness that flows to you. That's joy. It's that feeling of aliveness that flows through you that creates joy. And for me, for Divi, intuition is that aliveness. And do you believe you have, like, this is what I think a lot of us struggle with. I mean, I was taught that my life had to be hard. I was taught that my life had to be duty. I was taught that my life had to be sacrifice. So the idea of me telling my 20-year-old that I'm allowed to have permission to love and joy, that version of me thinks I have to work all the time. But I've learned a different way of thinking, and that's why I got really sick. So are we willing to imagine that I could give myself permission for this much joy? See what else I wrote down. And then I went to the actual program. I'm actually going to just go over this really briefly. Starts September 10th, because I think a lot of you guys were last week. It ends at the end of February. We meet for an hour and a half on Tuesdays at 9 a.m. and 5 o'clock Pacific time. They're live classes. I include coaching, and then there's lots of pre-recorded material, including shadow works, patriarchy, 3 beliefs of the ego, intuition, energy work, coaching, and so on. The course itself, so we've got the big container of people, and then we've got a pod group of 4 people, and you guys will meet a minimum of twice a month where you practice coaching each other. Got it? Which is the key. Then on top of that, I'm going to pop into those meetings, not to test you, but to support and help you. Occasionally, not all the time. I'll pop in now and then. Then you get 3 sessions with a certified intuitive coach that I've certified and trained. Then you get a sexy weekend in Whistler with me from October 31st to November 4th. We have a steam room, a sauna, a yoga room, yummy meals by like 5-star chefs. You guys will be blown away. All that's included. What's not included is your travel to and from Whistler. Results of the program: a highly intuitive person, happier you. You work through your crap. You'll expect miracles all the time. The ability to help anyone, a long wait list, all that stuff. And I think I went through this last time too. The container itself, if you just did this on your own, a container itself of 6 months of this type of container is normally about 10 grand. All expenses 5-day retreat to Whistler is normally about 4 grand. A pod group with all that support is normally about 2,500. 3 sessions, 1 hour with certified coaches who are really good is about 1,500 bucks. We're going to give you lifetime access to all the material. That's about 2,000. A spiritual network for the rest of your life, which everybody who graduates the program will have. There's no price to that. Confidence with your intuition, there's no price to that. So you add up all those numbers, it's about 20 grand, give or take, with priceless is priceless. But this course is $1,000 a month. Like I said, it starts in September. We've got a couple of spaces left. It's almost full. A couple of spaces left. Let's double check what else I've got on these fun slides. Why join now? Because September 10th is around the corner. What else do I have written down here? Are you ready? That's really the main core choice, is are you ready to hear the divine more often? Are you ready to be of service? Are you ready to have the life that you dreamed of? That's really what it's about. What else did I end with? My mission statement again. And if you are on board for this type of mission statement, this program is for you. And if you're not, that's totally cool. I'm here to empower people with intuitive and spiritual guidance so that they can heal and gain clarity. So they can step into the life mission. Stay-at-home mom, whatever it is, cleaner, doesn't matter. And to make joy and peace and abundance the dominant vibration. But I believe we can do it. I just don't have a lot of people doing it. Okay, that's the end of the slideshow, I think. So I'm going to open up to coaching Q&A, see what's going on. August asked a question. There's already questions coming in. How does it differ from ICT in previous years? Why the change? Yeah, I did ICT already. How does this add to it? Same questions. Okay, ICT. So why the change? So to answer your question, so Lynette and I taught ICT. It was a 12-month program, and the reason for the change was Lynette and I kind of went, not in a bad way, we just went separate ways. She went more into what she calls mystic entrepreneurship. She went more into a business model. Like she decided to take her coaching more to business. I took my coaching more to A Course in Miracles. So Return to Self is more revamp of ICT. So in ICT, just because you asked this question, August, it was a year long. The first 6 months was shadow work, energy work, universal laws, everything you get in Return to Self. But I didn't teach A Course in Miracles in the 6 months. And you also got A Course in Miracles in those first 6 months of ICT. So in Return to Self, you get the first 6 months that I taught before, you get here, plus ACIM. The last 6 months of ICT was business. And it was business as well as what else did we teach? Business and light body. And so The business section I've taken out of Return to Self for a number of reasons. One is I have found that a lot of people who've entered my program want to create their business their own way, which is totally cool. I also have an optional thing after it. Like I said, if somebody wants to do business, a couple of my coaches who've created their own businesses are setting up a 3-month coaching thing if you want to join that. So I took the business part out of it. I took the light body out of it, and I focused it to 6 months for a couple of reasons. Number one, I set up ICT 7 years ago, and the people that were coming in back then didn't know the difference between their thoughts and their emotions. Now, thanks to good old social media, people know the difference. Back then, 7 years ago, people didn't know their shadows very well. Nowadays, I don't expect all of you to know your shadows at all, but most people know what the word shadow is now. Most people know it's an unconscious pattern. Cool. So what I would answer that question, August, is that by the last time I taught ICT, which was a year and a half ago, I don't remember. I'm not teaching it now, so it was a year and a half ago. The people that joined that last ICT, they were faster, like they were better. We actually took the year course and shrunk it to 9 months the last time we did it because people are starting faster. Got it? They're like higher, more ready faster. So that's why we shifted it. Plus I added the ACIM. So that's why. I did ICT already. How does it add to it? It adds the ACIM part a lot, and it adds ACIM a lot. And it, just give me a second. I want to hear what they want to say. And it solidifies a lot of what you already know, but I also spent a lot more time with the female goddess energy. I think Raya asked that question. So hope that helped you, Raya. Cool. Okay, I'm going to open up for coaching and Q&A and see where you guys are at. And Raya, just so you know, a few people from ICT are doing it. I'll give you a discount code if you've done ICT before, just so you know. If you want to do it, let me know. All right, let's open up for Q&A and coaching. That was the PowerPoint. I'm done with that now. So tell me what's coming up for you guys. How are you guys doing? Question. Oh, wait. Are you guys excited? I'm excited. Oh, yay. Lindsay wrote excited. Thank you. You know, like we're on the same wavelength. Is anyone excited? I'm super excited. Yay. Thank you, Joni. I need some excitement. I'm not the only one. Yay. All right, cool. Any questions? Coaching. What's happening for you guys? Hey, Terrell. It's great to see you again. I got to you everything the weekend. I get you today. I get you last week. Lucky me. I'll give you guys a second and see what's coming up for you guys. Maybe there's nothing, which is cool too. Mm-hmm. Oh, Joni has her hand. Hey, Joni.
Are we just asking questions about the program, or are we
anything you want, sister? I'm good
coaching?
For coaching, questions of the program, whatever you want. I'm easy. Okay.
I have like this question that's like just going around in my head, but sure. And it's back to the debt thing. Like, so for some reason it's like in my face, but and I realized today that it's like making the right or the wrong choice. So I'm not sure even if it's still a question, but the idea, like I just want to take out of my 401k and just pay off my business debt.
Yeah.
Because I just want to, like, I just don't want to think about it anymore. Like how it's going to get paid, what's going to happen. And I feel like it, like when I sit with it, it gives me like such a, like, I just feel so much peace and calm and, yeah. So I don't know. It's like, do I wait for a different, like, intend another miracle to come in? Or do I just take this inspired action and like go do it?
And my question to you would it be wrong to take from 401k? Because that's the question that's coming the loudest.
Yeah, it feels like I might be making a mistake, but I feel like that's very like just the cycle. It's just the crap in your head from the outside.
Right.
But it would be wrong.
Totally. Because so you know, when you have like, so what Joni's is, I'm going to teach you and coach you at the same time. Joni's showing us what split energy is, right? On one hand, she's like, you know, I really like to pay off my 401, and oh, is that a wrong decision, right? One thing, Joni, that is the loudest that you guys are saying is there is no such thing as a wrong decision. You okay with that?
Yep.
And if you stay in your heart, how does it feel?
Yeah, it feels very freeing to just get it off me.
And I'm going to jump to money, and you're going to see where I'm coaching with this in a second.
Yeah.
Most of us don't imagine that we can be divinely wealthy. We think it has to be hard. Is that fair? So I'm going to take you to a very mini meditation, Joni. It's for everybody who wants to do some money work. Go ahead and close your eyes. And go back where Isis was, and I want you to imagine her as part of you, Joni, not separate from you. There you go. You felt her, right? Good. Now feel her. This is not about the 401k. This is about just feeling her and being with her. Now, with your connection with your divine mother, Joni, stay with her. What is one area of your business that you'd like to open up for? So just say that out loud. What is one area of your business you want to open up? If you want like 3 new clients, I'm making this up. What do you want, Joni?
Yeah, I would like to do more of the like intuitive work. Like just that's where I love to be.
Well, I know
Yeah.
you're taking the program. So Lindsay, that answers your question. You're taking the program, but stay with me, Lindsay. Stay with me, Joni. So work with Isis and the Divine Mother and ask her, hey, Divine Mother, you are the mother of magic, Isis. Ask her, would it be for our best interests, mine and yours, for I'm making this number up, 5 clients to show up in the next week or 2? Let's be specific, 2 weeks. What does she say?
Um, like this feeling of being tired or
Okay.
like it's just weird, but
Okay.
it's like I'm in a rest phase. I don't know how
Okay.
to
So that might
explain
be
that.
too many. Beautiful. So her and you were saying too many right now. Is that fair? Like 5 is too many. Is that fair, Johnny? Ask her, what would it feel like? Because you've got this money conversation. Ask her, that would it feel good to use the 401k for that? What does she say?
Yes. Yes.
Was that you or her?
I don't know.
Okay. That's do you see how because your mind is perseverating on it? Do you see that? Stay in your body, stay in your body, stay in your body. Because when our mind is so focused on what we think we should do, we can't hear her.
Yeah.
Is that resonating a bit?
Yeah, it's interesting because like when we're joined, it's like I'm pregnant. I don't
That's
know if that
exact.
makes a different to what you're saying, but that's how I like together I'm like pregnant.
Yeah, and that's beautiful because they talk about how there isn't actually a gap between us and them, right? Because the ego likes the body and the ego are best friends, right? So if I'm actually not the body, it makes sense that you feel her as part of you. Are you with me still, Joni? I haven't lost you.
Mhm.
Okay, good. Now let her in again, like you have, and ask her again. Does it feel like a yes? Not you. I'm not asking you. I'm asking her. Does it feel like a yes to use the 401k?
I don't know how to separate the yes,
Okay.
other than there is like it's the answer seems like yes, but then there is tightness that comes
Okay.
like in my back of my neck.
Amazing. So what I would get you to do, Joni, so there isn't an answer in that, which is fine. We're still in split, no big deal. So what I would get you to do as homework is just work with her outside of this question. Because what I'm showing you that you've really gripped onto that answer. Does that make sense? And the
Yeah.
more you grip, the less you can hear her. How does that feel? That tracking?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the part of you can never get it wrong,
Mhm.
that really hit. And it's I'm in a situation where I'm reminded over and over and over every day, every interaction that I am doing it all wrong, right? So I think it's hard.
Right. And so let me just go back to what I was teaching earlier when I was teaching about the mind and sin and stuff like that.
Yeah.
How many of us here, put your hands up, feel like they're in powerless in a certain area of our life? Just hands up. Powerless. Okay, cool. For those of us who are hands up with powerlessness, I'm really going to request you to try something. If you try this just for half a day tomorrow, ask yourself, where do I have power? Does that make sense? Because there's certain situations, so how it works is you're approaching the situation of this pink highlighter over and over and over again. See, Lindsay? Over and over and over again with powerlessness. But powerlessness is an emotion. It's an energy. And this is the energy of powerlessness. Are you guys with me still? Okay. Now here is another thing in your life. Let's just say your food choice. Let's just say you're powerless around money. Let's just say the pink one's money. But let's just say when it comes to food, and when you approach money, you always approach it with powerlessness. But then when it comes to food, you're like, oh, well, I'm powerless because I can only afford this much. Effing put that down. Let's choose a topic in your life where you do have a bit of power. Does this make sense? The ego loves powerlessness. I have no other way to say it. But powerlessness is not who you truly are. At every moment you have choice, you've just got an addictive neural pathway of powerlessness. Is this making sense to your guys' brain? I want to make sure. So you want to consciously exert choice where you have, consciously exert choice where you have power. So I don't drive very much, but if I did drive, I would go, well, I have a choice right here to turn right or left. There, I've got power there. You see how it works? I have choice to wake up at 8 or 8:02. I have power there. And if you can start doing that, then when you approach the same topic, let's say of money, you're not so deeply patterned in powerlessness. Got it? Powerlessness is just a pattern that the ego loves. So if I never see you again, if you only take this, it is a life-changing thing. When you understand that powerlessness is a choice, it's not a real thing. If you believe in God, it ain't real. Powerlessness is the ego's favorite thing. Got it? The favorite things it grabs is money, relationship, and health. You're powerless. That damn husband keeps telling you you're a jerk. That damn wife keeps asking for food. You're as powerless as you choose to think you are. You have choice. Chocolate, vanilla. Chocolate ice cream, vanilla ice cream. You have choice. The ego or spirit. And if you always approach, say, the money conversation from the ego, you're going to get the same answer. But if you have power to choose a different way to feel, it's life-changing. And I'm going to stay on money because it's a question Joni asked. This is a technique that I learned, I don't know, about 10 or 15 years ago. Guys, close your eyes because we're still talking about money. I'm going to give you a statement and I want you to feel it in your body and I want you to mention in the chat box how it feels. What energy would I need to be to allow in $50,000 into my bank account right now? You can change it to 10,000, change it to 100, change it to 200. I don't care what number you put. What energy would I need to be to allow in $50,000 into my bank account right now? And just breathe. What energy would I need to be to allow in $50,000 into my bank account? What energy would I need to be to allow in $50,000? Once you feel that, open up your eyes and type it into the chat box. What did you guys feel? Courageous, wrote Haley. Yeah, it is courageous. What else did you guys feel? Embodied love, wrote Bay. Yeah, love, writes Krista. Yeah. So guys, if I never see you and this is your issue, I do this exercise a lot when I'm Andrew writes Troy. When I'm walking from here to my elevator, which is whatever, 50 steps away. I can think, okay, what am I going to eat today? What am I going to take? What am I going to eat? Or I can walk going, what energy would I need to be to have $50,000 in my bank account? That's my choice, right? And at each moment, I'm putting out a vibration. Guys, I'm not yelling at you. I'm just yelling loud. At each moment, I'm putting out a vibration. I have 85 steps to walk from here to my home. Those 85 steps, which takes about a minute and a half, 2 minutes. I have a choice is what I feel. When I get home and I'm cutting my peppers, it's kind of rote, right? I do it in my sleep. Gotta just make sure I don't hit my fingers. And I can stand there going, what energy would I need to feel to allow $50,000 today? See how easy it is? When I was terribly, I put terribly as a judgment in debt. That was an exercise I did almost every day. And I don't know how it happened, but it happened. Got it? The how is in the wow. The wow is in our vibration. The wow is in spirit. Got it? So the more you try, and a lot of you guys wrote, I felt open, I free, I feel a miracle, I'm receiving, I feel love, I feel joy. Electric currency through your body. Guys, we're just electric currency magnets. Thanks for that word, Logan. That's all I'm just spitting out a vibration, in comes what I get. I'm just spitting out a vibration, in comes. If I spit out a vibration that my husband controls me, guess what I'm going to walk into? If I put out a vibration that I have power, guess what I get back? If I put out a vibration that I count a matter, guess what I get back? How is this feeling? Questions, comments, anything else? You want some questions coaching on? Hope that helped, Joni. Now I went off on many tangents around money, but I hope that helped. Hey, Karen.
Hey, so my question is, like, I believe I am very intuitive. Like, that's a thought I have of myself, but I know that there's thoughts that like arise that like are faulty.
Okay.
So how do I use that discernment? Like, for example, I might think someone's mad at me, but they might not be. Like,
It's a great question. You know, the thought that, okay, so it's called pulling the threads. I'm going to pull this thread, okay? The thought that somebody is mad at you, does it feel good or does it feel bad?
feels bad.
Okay, got it. So stay with me. So you're questioning, is that my intuition or is that real? Right? The thought that somebody is mad at me is always, it feels bad. Okay. And you're intuiting their frequency. So you're guessing, are they mad at me? But what if, stay with me, what if it's more about you? Because it's something they're saying, it's something you ask a lot. It's not just once in a blue moon. Is that fair?
Yeah, all the time. Like, I have a strong knowing, like that gut feeling,
Right.
but then I'm always like questioning it as well, just as much as I have that.
So I'm going to teach something a little bit different and you'll see where I'm going with this, Karen. Okay. Just play with me. The reason the class is 6 months long and not just a weekend of intuition, I want to explain that because it's super important for you to understand. Because Karen, okay, before I go there, you can do an intuitive reading from a shadow or from spirit. So right now you're doing an intuition from shadow. I'll give you an example. I was teaching a retreat on Saturday. There's a gentleman there whose sister is in the hospital dying. Okay, so he gets off the phone with the doctor. The phone call came during the session, during the retreat. He gets off the phone, comes back and sits down, and he's in a state totally normal, right? She's not dying at the second, but she'll probably die or she's not going to be out, whatever. Gets off the phone, he sits down and he's, emotional. So I asked him a question. I said, and I know him. I said, hey, oh, my earring fell out. I said, tune into your sister. Does she want to live or die? And don't forget, this is what I do for work. So I tuned into her before I even asked the question. And the message I got back before I even, typically when I ask a question, Karen, I know the answer before even when I ask it, but I'm asking the client for them to kind of get a spin on it, right? So I asked him, does your sister want to live or die? And he pauses and he tunes in, but he was tuning in from his shadow. And he said, she wants to live. And I paused and I didn't say you're wrong. I kind of had a conversation with him. And then he paused and he realized, oh, I really want her to stay. That's my stuff. Then I said, okay, let's cut the cords if you want her to stay. Then I said, now tune in. Does he want to live or does she want to die? And he tuned in and said, oh, she wants choice. She might want to go. See the difference? He was tuning in from shadow versus from spirit. His shadow wanted her to stay. Are you with me still? Your shadow doesn't believe in yourself, and your shadow is a people pleaser. Karen, I'm going to be straight with you, not going to mince word. You're a people pleaser. You want people to like you, and you're always tuning in from that shadow. So guess what you're always going to feel? Are they mad at me? 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 And you think it's your intuition. See what's happening?
Yeah, no, I'm definitely have a lot of that people-pleasing tendency.
And this is why people sometimes say to me, when I use my intuition, that's false. Intuition is never false. It's just which are you tuning in from? That's why the program is as long as it is. All the trainings that Karen, this is just for you to know. I was going to talk about this in the webinar, but I forgot to. I've done 3 intuition trainings, Karen, 3. Okay. They were all one was a year, but it was more medical. One was 3 days, and one was over 12 weeks, but it was really spaced out. Or 6 weeks. The reason I started it this way was because when I started working with my intuition and started actually running a business, I realized that I had to work on my shadows. And the more I worked on my shadows, the better my intuition got. My readings were clearer. The funniest thing, Karen, you might laugh at this. The funniest thing is the very first client I ever had was at a house I lived in when I first moved to Vancouver. And he walks in the door, he knocks on the door, he comes in as a guy. I'm like, okay, it's interesting. A guy is my first client. I was an Indian guide. Anyone who doesn't know me, like Divi well, I have a lot of shadows around Indian men. Got married twice, neither did an Indian man, not once. I'm like, oh, this is interesting. Indian man, what does he want to talk about his marriage? I'm like, crap, that's my shit, right? I didn't marry an Indian man. I'm like, of course, he's sitting in my room. Of course, he's in my office. Great. I had a home office at the time. Anyways, long story short, then I had a lot of clients in the first few years I worked, Indian women coming in about their husbands and vice versa. I was like, okay, the universe is talking to me. So I started to really dig into my stuff. So I don't give distorted readings because you give distorted readings, which is why I teach shadow work. I don't want people I certify to give distorted readings. I want you to give clear readings. That's why you have to work through your shit. So Karen, this is your shit. It's a long answer to a short question.
Yeah, no, thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks for letting me teach that. Cool. Other comments, questions? How are you guys doing? Is everyone excited? Tell me you guys are excited. Okay, excitement. Thank you, Haley. I need some nodding. Other comments, questions? Anything else coming up for anyone? Cool. Amazing.
Can I share something with you? It's just like a comment. I'm very excited. I'm signed up for the 6-month program. And yeah, there's just this huge, I'm being pulled into this incredible chapter of huge change. And that's really the big thing that's blocking me the most right now is overcoming fear. Fear has been a big freezy energy on my body for a really long time. And the only power that I have found that has helped me to blast through that is God. And so, yeah, I've been diving into Course in Miracles this past year, and then I found you, and it was like Spirit has led me here. So I'm just so ready and excited and really grateful.
I'm excited to have you too. So, Haley, I'm just going to get you to pull this thread because I know we don't start for another 2 weeks or so. So I want you to pull this thread a bit.
Okay.
Are you okay if we do it right now?
Yeah.
A little bit of it right now, but I'll give you the instructions for down the road. Follow that fear thought. What is the fear of? Fear of what?
Change.
Okay, good. And change means what?
Uncertainty, unpredictability, can't control what's going to happen. Something bad could happen. Yeah.
I knew it was about control.
Yeah.
And you can see how the ego's got you ripped in control.
Yeah.
I haven't taught this yet. At least I don't think I have in these 3 webinars, but I never remember anything. You'll learn it in the course. There's 3 beliefs of the ego, and I'll make it really short. The first belief is that you're lacking something. Okay, so back up. So when I'm talking with my hands, when I came into this human body, so here I am, here with God, here I am with God, right? Then I come into human body, I open my eyes to see my mom. But where's God? Where's God? So that creates the first belief of ego, which is lack, which is separation. And that creates sadness. Are you with me still?
Yeah.
So just think of it when you're 16. You find your boyfriend, he breaks up with you, you're sad, right? So lack equals separation equals sadness. So stay with me. Then because of lack, now I'm 20 and I'm like, I want a BMW because I want to feel better. And that creates attachment. And then attachment creates anger and frustration because I got to have that BMW. You see with me? But that's only because I feel like I'm lacking something, right? So the perception of lack, which creates sadness, then creates attachment, which creates anger and frustration. And then because I want the BMW, guess what I'm going to do next? I'm going to control, which is what you're doing, which creates fear. But to heal any of these beliefs, we have to go back to the originating one, was that you're not separate from God. Are you with me still? How does that feel?
Yeah, so I hear my ego mind being like, well, if I'm not separate from God, then why did all these really horrible things happen to me when I was a little girl? And like, where the fuck was God when I needed protection and safety, And so there's some anger around that. Yeah.
And there should be. One of my ACIM teachers talks a lot about how he spent 72 hours just getting angry at God. So if you haven't done that, I encourage you to do it. Just do a 72-hour fast on getting angry at God.
Okay.
Just let it move out of your body. And then God will go, okay, you done yet? Because when horrible things happen, regardless of what they are when we're children, as you know, contrast creates clarity. And what screwed up and Haley, this is an amazing question. So thank you for giving me permission to go here. What happens is when we come onto the planet, we think we're this little itty teeny little bitty beautiful birdie. You're not a teeny, your body's little, but your soul is old. And you know that. I know you know that. But it is human experience is set up that way to all have us return to God. And these little bitty experiences, God was there. And yes, this horrible experience was occurring, but it's all about us I know you know this, and I know it's hard for our minds. It's
Mhm.
about going, wow, I really did interpret that by trauma. And trauma may have happened to my body, but it never happened to my soul. And I know
Mhm.
you know the touch, but it's getting your feeling sense there.
Yeah.
Really, when I got that, and it takes time, but when I got that in energetic body, all of the stories I had about my mom and dad just literally, I beat the drum for 30 years on that one. Well, as soon as I got it, it was like, and the ego doesn't want you to get it. Does that make sense up here?
Mhm.
But you're
Mhm.
so close,
Yeah.
right? And it's
Yeah.
part of, and I know you know this intellectually, it's part of what your soul chose coming in here.
Yep.
Once you let that trauma kind of not go, but just see it for what it worth, not intellectually, but energetically. And we'll do this in the 6 months. You'll go,
Yeah.
oh, I now see it all.
Yeah. Yeah. And I have glimpses of that, but it's like the ego creeps back up on me and brings me back to that old familiar place, you know?
And it's normal. And the more we work together over the 6 months, the more you'll go, oh, and it's just glimpses. And
Yeah.
then one day this will be your sustaining place.
Mm-hmm.
And then you'll coach other people who are doing the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Yeah.
our clients are just one step behind us. That's it.
Yeah. That's what it's like right now. Most of the people that come to me are also women who experience childhood trauma.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. And that's so beautiful. They have you to work through.
Yeah.
And you've worked through your body, right? They're showing me your like lower stomach and your ribs. So you've done
Yeah.
body work. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Good.
Yeah. Somatic work's been really helpful.
Yeah. And we might do a bit more, but it's, have you done the forgiveness work? Forgiving the thought that I was hurt?
I just started that. That's been a powerful one. Yeah.
That's next for you.
Yeah.
Because sure, you hurt my body, but you never hurt my soul. So I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
forgive the thought that I was hurt, which again, that's pretty advanced, but you're ready for it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're like, she's ready for that. So tick. How does that feel?
That feels good. Yeah. Feels like I'm in the right place.
Or,
Mm-hmm.
so excited to have you, Haley.
Mm-hmm. Thanks.
Thanks. Any other comments or questions as we wrap?
Yeah, dude, this is actually Logan on Bay's video here.
How are you?
I'm good. I thought I'd hold off, which was a good reason I did. The last three questions we had were kind of like bits and pieces of what I wanted to ask. So
Amazing.
I feel like this is kind of bouncing off of what Haley you were just saying. So maybe there's some pieces in there for you as well. But I'm getting that same feeling with there's so many options to choose right now with regards to 50 different categories in my life.
Okay.
I'm starting to get a bit of a freeze response. Like, what if I make the wrong choice? Because all of these individual components are tied by like a very thin thread. So if I make a wrong choice in one category, it could fuck up the whole system, and everything is at such a depleted state that like if there's any fuck up, the whole card deck will fall.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love you.
Thank you.
Do you see the control in all?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, cool. Do you laugh at the control of it?
Do I laugh at it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I can definitely laugh at it. It's frustrating, but yeah.
Guys are laughing at you. You want to hear what they're saying? They're saying, why does he hold himself to such a high regard that he's in charge of everything? You've heard of non-doership, right? Where, and you got that, right? How does that feel? Breathe.
Yeah, it's there's a very strong attachment to somehow me being rewarded for making the right choices.
That's what's keeping this loop. I need you to know it's like there's a rope that goes from here under my lower ribs and it's pulling me. The more we talk about it, that's where you hold it. My coughs are so I burp because it's right solar plexus is tight.
Mhm.
It's pulling at my lower ribs. So what's obviously happening is that there's a thread from a shadow under it that I have to make the right decision. So then I've got all these decisions I've got to figure it out, like you see it, right? And again, I'm going to get this wrong, but it says somewhere in the Bible or somewhere in A Course in Miracles, and I'm going to get the quote wrong. Above all, I can do nothing, or something like that. There's something like that. Okay. Above all, except for God, I can do nothing. And that's the energy that I need you, Logan, to grab because, it is very normal in men, and I have a lot of masculine energy. So I have this one too. And so does Haley. It's like, I got to figure it out. And that's how I get rewarded. And and Joni, you've got that too. We all have it, right? But the bigger it runs us, and it's very common in men, is like that's where they're calling it crippling fear is making him frozen. And this is happening so that you can forgive that thought form, Logan, that you're in charge because you're meant to soar, brother. You're meant to soar, Sean. I was going to call you sister. You're meant to soar. And it doesn't matter, honey, what decision you make. I love you. I say it with grace to you as well.
Appreciate that. Yeah, there's definite fears because other people in the 3D realm who are actually here as other beings are counting on the individual Logan because that's where they're at consciousness wise to be accountable for my actions. But if I'm at the pace of source, sometimes that drags me in, say, roundabout ways to getting there that other people might need in the immediate. If it's say I'm providing for my mother or for my partner or for my business and my clients. So.
And you can see how that grips. But something, Logan, you're quite advanced, as are you, Haley, as everyone on the call, for God's sakes. Even when things went south or backwards, you always learn something, correct?
Mm.
But they just said to me right now, his brain thinks that the stakes are higher. See how you're doing that to yourself? We all do it. Yeah. So I'm giving you a break here. I'm giving you a break. And they just showed me a couple letters. You can't get it wrong. And if you give yourself a break from this idea that it's all up to me, the 3D reality, all of which I get, can you give that thought to God?
Yeah, there was an immediate heart no, but the feeling I know underneath that is yes. I've been practicing that the last 6 months. It's just as it seems like there's more stakes at play, the deeper I get into this, the harder it gets.
And that whole word, the stakes in play. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
Do you see how the ego is doing that? Like you see how it has
it's trying to justify its own fear, yeah.
Exactly. It's got twist tie. Well, there's my mom, there's my part. Like, do you get it? And the more you go there, the more constricted you get. And that's what's keeping you frozen to even take a first step. Does that make any sense to your brain?
Big time, yeah.
Okay. And if you let those vibrations diminish of all of this, what's possible?
Every single iteration of what I'd hope would be the best option.
Because you, like a lot of people on this call know, you create your reality. And part of you is waiting to clean up all these thoughts. You never ever clean them up completely. I know you know that. But they're showing me a picture of your foot. You just take that first step forward. Take the next step forward. They just said he's afraid of his own shadow. They showed me a picture of. How does that feel?
Yeah, I'm curious about the shadow component there. It may not be in the scope of the call today, but
yeah, you're just afraid of fucking up, is what they're saying.
Yeah, okay, that would make sense.
Yeah, he's just afraid of fucking up. But if you realize that every time it was like half, and you know this because you've been in this world for a while, every time you take a half step back, it's like, yes, what can I figure out now? And I hope this helps you, Logan. I think you've been here before. Anytime I go through contrast and things go crazy, it's where my biggest learning is. It's where I make the most money.
Is in the contrast.
When I work through it. Maybe not while I'm in it, but when I work through it, when I'm like, oh, that's what that was about. Oh, okay. And I'm just coming out of a contrast that was, it's a personal thing, that was about a 3-year journey. And I'm coming out of it. I'm like, oh my God, look at everything I've learned.
Yeah.
And it's just like, wow. And yours isn't going to be 3 years. Mine was like a very deep unconscious pattern. It's fine. But it's like, wow, I'm coming out of it now. I'm like, wow, that's cool. And it wasn't bad for 3 years. Don't get me wrong. Which is I was in this situation. But where I want you to go with this, Logan, is like whenever you come out, you're like, so if you're afraid of the dip, but I got to tell you, the dip is where the glory is. How does that feel?
I've known it before. I've known it with fewer stakes, but yeah. I think the lie is just the deeper I get into the second phase of adulthood, not young adulthood, but the middle section, there's a lot more to be responsible for.
You're addicted to that, aren't you?
Yeah, for sure.
I love you. I love you. I'm teasing you. I get it. But what they're telling me is that I could be wrong, but they're telling me you would live in a shoe box. Like you're not that.
Yeah, I'd live in the forest. I don't give a shit about that.
Exactly. So you see, so they want you to now you're gonna, but there's my motto. And you see how the ego is trying to stack the case against you. You just got that. And yet you're so gifted and so talented and so beautiful. That's what they keep saying to me.
Thank you, Divi. It's been very useful. I don't want to take up too much more time here, especially if May's got something that she might want to share at some point. But wanted to point out last week for those of you who were also on the call, you were sharing about the ordering of body, mind, soul.
Okay.
When you used that metaphor last week to describe something in what you were teaching. That was incredibly useful for me. So I just wanted to say thank you for that. It helped bridge a model that I had in psychotherapy that I needed to tether the soul to that model. And I drafted stuff up for like an hour straight after that call. So thank you.
Amazing. I don't remember any of that, but that's cool. Thanks.
Great.
I don't remember any of that.
Thank you, Divi.
That's
And if your guides, if you're tapping into the guides tell you whether or not I'm supposed to be in the Netherlands, you let me know.
They're not giving me a yes or no.
Yeah, didn't think so. Yeah, thank you.
Go. Faye, did you have anything?
Not that I can think of. I actually booked a call
Okay, cool.
to hop on and just kind of see what comes up. But one of the
cool.
things that came to mind was the setback. What you're talking about is like the slingshot is what my biz mentor brings up.
Okay.
And it's just like a really nice thing that you put out there because I'm definitely watching him go through his dip, and it's so different being with someone, watching them go through it. And also I'm still going through it. But after my last surrender experiment, it feels a little bit easier. It's just a little bit more challenging to understand this non-doership process. So chat GBT'd it.
Okay.
And it brought up a few things. And I was just like thinking it'd be really cool if someday you ever expanded more on that in some of your work. I'd love to study it and just hear from your perspective other than some of the other perspectives.
I'll just go through, I'll just give you a brief and then I might do a podcast on it maybe. It's not something that the intellect can understand, but it's it's a process. So for example, like when I'm at, I go in and out of it, just so you know. But the more you go in it, the more you start to believe it. Like, let me ask you a question, Bae. Who just picked up my water bottle? If I can disidentify from the Divi, it's just God working through me or my nervous system, whatever you want to say, my muscular. So the more you practice that during the day, who drove the car to the gym today? And you identified from Divi because I'm just a motorized machine driving the car. Then I remember doing that. I do it on and off. And when I go through that for a few days, Bae, then I'm one of these people who like reflects a lot. I'm like, okay, all right. And who did that session today with that client? And not the intuition I know was never me because I'm not that smart. I'm like, okay, that was them. But then when I actually I sit and I have to practice that for a while, Bae. I have to practice that for a bit. Who picked up my glass? Who did the dishes? And you do that for a while. Then you ask who had sex. Don't ask me that question. That one's hard to answer. But then when I ask myself, then I go through that. Okay, so if I'm not the doer, then I remember having this experience the first time where it was like, then who am I? And then there was this pause, like, I am God. And it was this out of body experience, Bae. And that started the dismantling of the doership. I'm not totally there. No one ever's totally there. But you go in and out. Does that make sense? But the first part is a practice of it and awareness. Like when I walk home today, who's moving my legs? And the more you think it's you, the more you're going to keep the ego alive. The more you challenge that thought that my legs are essentially auto functioning, because they really are. You have to challenge that thought. Does that make sense here?
It's making a little bit more sense. Thank you.
But it's more that experience. Yeah, exactly. And the more you can practice that experience of it, and it's a bit of a weird concept, the easier it gets.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
So good to see you guys. Anything else as we wrap? Amazing. Okay, let's just take a quick close and close our eyes, take a few breaths. So I'm going to see a bunch of you guys on September 10th. So I'm super excited to have you guys. Take a few breaths. And then what do you want me to say? If money is an issue, please just reach out. Let's have a call. If you're freaking out, just reach out and have a call. If you don't think you can do it, reach out. Let's have a call. Because I know you can do this. If there's a pull, there's a way. Bring in your divine support team. Bring in Isis. Bring in your guides. Take a few breaths. Thank yourself for showing up for these webinars. Thank yourself for listening to the recording. Thank yourself for being present. Now for a few breaths when you're ready. Gently open your eyes, coming back. Nice work, guys. I hope some of that helped today. Remember the vibration. What vibration would I need to be to have $50,000 in my bank account today? Something to play with. Okay. Logan, what vibration would I need to be clear? Stuff like that. Sounds good. Awesome work, guys. So much love. Have a great day, guys. I'll see you guys in a couple weeks. Ciao.
Bye.
Bye, guys.